YouTube, man, what the hell going on? What the hell going on? It's your boy Rex here. Today we're gonna react to this video. We're gonna react to this video by that boy Jamari. Most delusional streamer, Hassan. He came out and said streaming is more difficult than working a 9 to 5 job. I'm gonna tell you this off top. I worked my last job. I worked for Amazon. I worked in AFE one. Was it AFE one or two? I think it was two. I worked at AFE two. So, I did problem solve, packing, rebeing, inducting. What the fuck else is there? I did everything up there but slam. I went to singles for a day. Then I ain't fuck with that shit. I just did. So you do that shit for 12 hours. You do that shit for what is it? 3 days a week, but sometimes I go on that bitch at 5. Like I rarely miss days. Out of 2 years, I probably honestly say I probably miss. Out of 2 years, I probably miss. Probably give myself. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna just say a month. Out of 2 years, that's me. That's not just me missing a whole day. I ain't gonna say a month. Probably 3 weeks, some shit like that. I just give it a month. But anyway. You try to do that shit, nigga. I seen, I see people quit before the goddamn lunch break. I ain't seen people. I was complaining about my feet when I first started working there. So that shit is hard. That shit is draining. That shit is goddamn. It is way more hard. I only started doing this for 3 months, and like you can turn this shit off whenever you want to. I can quit this shit and go work a job, but you know what I'm saying. It is what it is. I'm gonna get full text content what the fuck he said. But anyway, before we hop to the video, I hope you have a good day, blessed day. You know what I'm saying? Hope you strive for whatever the fuck you strive for. I hope you go get it. I hope you get good at it. And you know what I'm saying? Do you? Do you? This nigga was a millionaire.
Named Hassan. I'm sure many of you know who he is.
I do not.
Some of you probably like him. Others might hate him. Like many political figures online, he is polarizing. You see, Hassan has been around this internet game for quite some time, and over the years he has become increasingly more progressive with his views. And at this point I would describe him as basically alt-left. Like even Ethan Klein, who has become very much a leftist, couldn't deal with his nonsense.
Actually, you know what? Go listen to Hassan. People say, I need to go listen to Hassan. This is bullshit. Please, go listen to Hassan.
And over the past couple of days, Hassan has now been going viral on Twitter. After he made the take that streaming is harder than any other job, at least from a social battery draining.
Listen, I don't know if he's talking about any other job, but try to work in fast food. Like I said, I like last video, I said I worked in fast food for 6 years. You try to deal with, I worked for a company called Yours in the Regions building. So you try to deal with 500 people, even more around, what was it, 12 o'clock, around 11:30, 11, some shit like that. You try to deal with all that shit. You try to deal with, especially, I'm going to say the hardest job, the hardest, easiest job I had was Amazon. You try to do that shit. You try to do that shit to see how your day go. Shit, streaming, you can turn that shit whatever. You can turn that shit off. You can turn that shit off whenever you want to. You the one choose to stream for 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, fucking 24-hour streams and shit. Them niggas decide to do that shit. Of course, for more money. I don't know. It's no other reason. Not because they goddamn. They trying to hit a standard or some shit. So the longer I stream, the more money I make. That's that simple. It's just that's just that simple.
Standpoint.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired. But a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you.
Crazy,
you know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
Now just off.
You choose to do that. You can turn that bitch off. You can turn that bitch off in 2 hours if you want to. You ain't got to stream all day. That's what I'm saying. You got.
The
I mean, you ain't got to go to work.
Take to be
won't have no
not
money.
only very privileged, but also just not based in reality. And with this being Hassan and so many people disliking him, anytime he gives people this type of ammo with just a stupid take, it's essentially like that scene from SpongeBob where it's like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? You know, everyone gets their turn with the beating stick, and they're essentially just passing this guy around, completely trashing him. Now, in response to that clip going viral, this is what Hasan had to say. It is wild how this completely out of context clip made its way to Twitter so fast. I was talking about how much a 9-hour stream eats away at my social battery, and how I can't socialize after. Comparing it to my sales job before, I recognize how fortunate I am every day. And he also posted this longer clip that I guess is supposed to provide some sort of context.
Social battery wise,
say-
unless you're in retail,
They say this guy makes shit up for 9 hours a day, and his commute to work is walking into his, what does she say? Into his 5-bedroom and $3 billion mansion.
unless you're in fucking retail,
Ain't no unless
it's
you're in
very different. You're out
retail.
of touch with them. I'm gonna die, dude. There's motherfuckers who are accountants in here, and they're misunderstanding what I'm saying. A real job does not expend your social battery in the same fucking way as someone who did a sales job, a real
What?
job. Okay, I'm telling you.
Listen, I'm just talking about Amazon. Just imagine what construction workers go through. Just imagine what fucking police officers go through. Fucking just imagine what nurses go through every day. Like, that shit is tough. I bet they would love to be in his position. I bet they would love to get on here and lie and talk shit all day for 9 hours a day and be a millionaire. I bet you that. That shit is crazy for him to say. That shit is crazy. Yes, I'm only doing reaction video. And yes, this shit is draining. Yes, I'm trying to grind to get monetized. But this shit, I don't have to do this shit, basically. Like, I could do 4 hours a day. I could do 3 hours a day. I could do 2 hours a day. But working a job was way harder than this. I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm gonna grind and, you know, try to get monetized. But, you know what I'm saying? This shit ain't nothing
As someone
compared
who
to a job.
did both, like 9 hours of constant performance and people pleasing taps you out from social scenarios. After 9 hours of that, I could probably fucking physical labor. It would not bother me, but I can't do more social shit. That's my point.
I mean,
That's
to
up
me,
to
the
him.
context here makes him look even more out of touch. Like, obviously, every single job is going to have its pros and cons. Like, for me, my job can be kind of the opposite. My job can be very socially isolating. Sometimes I can go all day without really talking to anyone. You gotta spend a lot of time on the computer. But I also understand that that's pretty much the way it goes for any job where you have to work at home. And I'm also not going to sit here and say, oh, my job is so much harder than someone else's because it is socially isolating. And also, let's be honest, you're not performing for 9 hours, dude. I mean, most of this guy's job is just watching YouTube videos and giving his political take. Like, half the time, I'm pretty sure this guy isn't even in the room, okay? The video's just playing and he goes off to do whatever the fuck he wants.
There are obviously real jobs out there that are good comparisons. Service
It's not.
sector,
It's
people-pleasing jobs would be very similar. Those are, like, I think, customer service type shit. But, like, if you're an accountant or if you're...
That shit is draining.
Even, like, in sales, my interactions with clients was limited. Way more limited than, like, constantly having to do this for 9 hours with, like, a back and forth interaction for 9 hours. That's what like, sucks your social battery and you just tap out after it.
You know, I would love to see Hasan try and do door-to-door sales or maybe some sort of cold calling and see how fast that type of job would suck the soul out of him.
I'm telling you.
I mean, at the end of the day, dude, you are a millionaire sitting in a mansion reacting to YouTube videos, farming millions of dollars from your audience. And obviously, with this being Hasan, people began to make the typical arguments that they're going to say against him because he does present himself as a socialist online. They say Hasan Piker taking a private jet to Coachella because he's a principled anti-capitalist. And that's always kind of been a talking point against this guy because he does live in a mansion, he drives several fancy cars, he's out here apparently taking
what the
private
fuck is he
flights,
complaining
and what
about?
they're essentially saying is, yeah, dude, you hate on capitalism all the time, you act like you're some big socialist, but then in your free time, you choose to indulge in capitalism as much as you can. My guy Mudahar comes in with his take where he says, streaming is by far the easiest, most privileged jobs one can have. If you're successful, the rewards far outweigh any of the negatives. Facts.
No, I'm telling
Compare
you.
it to any service job. Cybersecurity or nursing, you'll find something actually exhausting.
I'm telling
and
you.
now this guy comes in with his take about Mudahar's take where he says, fuck it, I'm doing bad faith arguments. Give a nurse or a cybersecurity expert a camera and tell them to talk about politics in front of 20,000 people for 9 hours a day, every day for a year, and see how long they can go before they quit from harassment or lose viewership because they suck. You'll see a lot of comments on Twitter trying to defend Hasan in this way, and to me it's just such a stupid argument because they don't take account that he's making millions of dollars to do so. Like, this is almost the equivalent of me telling a school teacher who's complaining about their salary, yeah, well, you go play shortstop for the New York Yankees. You go play power forward for the Lakers. Let's see how you fucking like it. Like, at the end of the day, doing streaming as a job when it comes to the pay versus the amount of effort you have to put in, especially for, like, these top-level streamers who have already made it and are getting, like, millions of dollars a month. And I would
That's
say it's a
crazy.
very fair assessment that they're all very privileged. I mean, I'm extremely privileged in my job. I'm not too out of touch where I can't recognize that. Like, you want to talk about mentally exhausting, you want to talk about socially draining. Like, I have friends who work out in the oil field. I'm talking about 12-hour shifts on their feet. I'm talking about missing birthdays, missing holidays, working with a bunch of felons. So if I were to sit here and say, like, oh, my job is so hard because it's socially isolating. My job is so hard because I get tired of doing the same thing every day. Like, if I were to say those things, I would feel like a bitch. Because I know how hard some of my friends are working. I know people who are completely educated with years of work experience who cannot find a job right now. And so with this situation, Hasan is going to take his moment to kind of lean into the bait where someone says, what's harder than this? And obviously this just looks like a disgustingly terrible, grueling job to have, no matter how much money you're making to do it. And Hasan says sarcastically that Twitch streaming is harder. Okay, kind of just poking fun at all the quote-unquote haters out there. Now, another popular streamer out there, Osmongold, stepped in to give his take on the situation.
Probably some
Imagine giving a presentation for 9 hours straight. It's like, after a while, you would be like, I don't want to talk.
Or the department manager just occasionally is just like, hey, you suck, bitch. Bald ass, bitch, you fell off, huh? We gotta remember this
what the fuck
in
are they
your
talking
performance
about?
review. You fat, stupid ass.
Oh my god, guys, can you believe that
The fuck are
random
they
people
talking about?
online type mean comments? Like, this guy is years into the internet game, and he's gonna really try and act like negative comments or mean people online bother him. Like, I get that it is a big...
I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of waiting on. I had some mean crazy comments. I'm just like, okay, all right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. But you know what I'm saying? You'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. Anybody that's trying to do YouTube or trying to do anything socially, you will get used to it. The good will weigh out the bad. So you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have your good days. You're gonna have your bad days. But as long as you keep fucking going, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
big part of Twitch to interact with your chat, but I feel like if you're gonna be a figure on the internet, pretty early on you have to learn to not really give a fuck about what anyone says, whether it's good or bad. Like, people are gonna praise you when you're up and try and take you out when you're down, but you can't really give a fuck because that's kind of just the nature of the beast. It kind of just comes with the job.
He says that he gets exhausted socially because he's talking to people for 9 hours a day. You really think that's not true?
People aren't saying it's not true. I think people are just saying you don't really have the right to complain about it when the pros outweigh the cons so much. And the pros in this situation being that he's a fucking millionaire sitting in his house all day, still making millions of dollars for a very minimum amount of effort.
I mean, you really think it's not true that after you spend 9 hours being investigated by thousands of people with every facial movement, everything you say, every word, with people constantly trying to disagree with you and fight with you, that's not socially draining.
I mean, Osman, you can't even clean your room, dude. You are a multi-millionaire who refuses to hire a maid, and you just choose to live in filth. You choose to have a pet cockroach. Like, I'm sorry, but anyone who chooses to live like this, especially who has the means not to, I can't really take anything they say seriously. Like, my
shit
grandmother always
nasty.
told me it cost nothing to be clean. Like, there is no excuse to be a dirty motherfucker. I just think when some of these guys want to give, like, a real-world point of view, they end up coming off brain dead because they are so out of touch with reality when it comes to the actual jobs people have to work, the actual stresses of life, especially right now with the current state of the economy, the housing market, compared to what people are getting in return at these jobs in
It's
form
not
of payments.
shit.
Like, most people are not going to want to hear this shit. They don't want to hear about your little, oh, woe is me story while you're raking in millions. And they can't afford their rent. They can't afford to buy groceries. They can't afford to go out and do anything fun. Like, I know so many people my age who are completely educated. They tried to do everything right, everything the way the system told them to do it.
And that shit
now
is
they just feel
fucking them.
completely screwed. Like, they're still having to live with their parents and they're approaching 30 years old. They don't own a house. All they really have is debt to their name. Like, they don't want to hear your privileged-ass hot takes from your nasty-ass room. But I
100% agree with him. I would take this shit over a job. Only because I know what a job would do. And if I know if I work hard enough at it, I can be good at this. I just gotta work hard. But him saying a job's hard than this is fucked up. Like he said, he's out of touch because shit is hard out here. Shit is fucking hard. This is hard. Food high as fuck. Goddamn houses high as fuck. Everything high as fuck. People with goddamn bachelors and masters and all that shit. Man, them folks struggling too. It seems, I was thinking about this the other day. I said, man, all the people that do right seem like they just get less than what the people do wrong. People that do wrong seem like they get ahead of people that do right. It don't make sense, but you know what I'm saying. Everybody look at shit different, I guess. He a millionaire. He don't know the stresses of what the fuck real people go through every fucking day. Cause this shit is tough out here. This shit is tough out here, boy. I would love to see him doing some more shit. If they took all that shit away from him, what the fuck would he be doing? Cause working 12, 13, I mean, I used to work. Let me see, I used to work at Amazon. Then I used to work at Ironside. I used to be in the cafeteria. I used to work almost 20 hours. Shit is tough, man. Shit is tough. Shit is hard. But anyway, tell me what you think about the video. Tell me, goddamn. Just let me know how you feel about it. That shit is crazy for niggas to say some shit like that. Niggas out of touch. But anyway, like the video. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Peace.